You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Bears fans, these rumors are absolutely crazy. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Geek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So as everyone knows, this past week, general managers and scouts around the National Football League were in Alabama taking in the Senior Bowl. And of course, a whole bunch of rumors surrounding the Chicago Bears and the number one overall pick was definitely a topic of conversation while everyone was at the Senior Bowl. And Bears fans, to be honest with you guys, these rumors were going both ways in terms of what GMs thought the Bears will actually do with the number one overall pick. Half of the GMs and people and scouts in general at the Senior Bowl are thinking that the Bears will stick at number one and take Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC, while the other half of people are thinking that the Bears will actually inquire about trading down from the number one overall pick while getting massive amount of draft capital once again for the second straight year. But Bears fans, the rumor that I want to talk about today on today's episode of Geek on the Mic came from Tom Pelissero while on Rich Eisen's podcast. Pelissero thinks the Bears would get multiple first-round picks, second-round picks, and a player from the Washington Commanders for the number one overall pick. Bears fans, check out this clip from Tom Pelissero on Rich Eisen's podcast.
But think about this. Even if you're talking about the Commanders moving up one spot, how good this class is and how highly people have Caleb Williams rated, that could be multiple first-round picks to jump one spot. If you're talking about coming from the middle of the first, the Vikings, go down the list of teams that need a quarterback right now, to get all the way up into the top 1, 2, or 3 picks, it is going to be a massive offer. And this isn't the NBA. You can't go all Oklahoma City and trade your first-round pick in 2033. You can only go out 3 years. A team like the Commanders, if anybody's going to make that Godfather offer to go up, it might be them because they've got the extra 2 second-round picks from trading those edge rushers. They've certainly got some players on their roster that could move up as well. The Bears are going to be sitting there in a position where you brought in a new offensive staff that certainly appears to be geared toward bringing in a Caleb Williams. You could get significant trade value, I would think, right now out of Justin Fields. And if you're the Bears, you buy yourself time because now you're not suddenly going up into that stratosphere of paying your quarterback, maybe not top dollar, but top 10 type of money, and bring in a Caleb Williams then who can be the guy that galvanizes the entire program. I would say their actions to this point indicate that they would like to draft a quarterback at number one.
What is Justin Fields' market right now on the weekend before Super Sunday?
Bears believe you can get something substantial for Justin Fields. Is that a first-round pick? Potentially. It all depends on what the vision is, what team makes sense for him, and where exactly, the Bears want to go.
Bears fans, all of this is absolutely crazy. We are in for a crazy next couple of months as the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles, are going to be the center stage of what they're actually going to do with the number one overall pick. Everyone is trying to figure out what Ryan Poles is actually doing. And that's the interesting part about this whole thing. No one knows exactly what Ryan Poles is doing. No decision has been made. I know there's this a big civil war, this Twitter battle on social media going on amongst Bears fans, thinking that they have it figured out. But truth be told, Ryan Poles, Ian Cunningham, and most of the people probably within the Chicago Bears organization close to Ryan Poles are the only ones that actually know what's going to happen with the number one overall pick. And I'll tell you this straight up. No decision has been made in terms of the number one overall pick, Bears fans. But I do appreciate that Tom Pelissero did discuss both routes and both options that Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears could possibly take for the number one overall pick, either trading the number one overall pick for a massive haul once again, for example, with the Washington Commanders, where you can get multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, and possibly a player like Terry McLaurin or Daron Payne, or drafting Caleb Williams at the number one overall spot and potentially getting a first-round pick for trading quarterback Justin Fields. And Bears fans, I've told you guys this before, but I'll say it again right here on today's episode of Geek on the Mic. I would absolutely hate to be in Ryan Poles' position, but at the same time, I've told you guys on past episodes of Geek on the Mic that I feel like the Bears and Ryan Poles are in a win-win situation, because no matter what Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears do, the Chicago Bears and the direction that they are going in is looking very, very bright. But overall, Bears fans, this is a very difficult decision for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to make. And once again, I would not want to be in Ryan Poles' shoes right now. But Bears fans, let me ask you guys this, and this is a very serious question for people that may be on board of trading back from the number 1 overall spot, or people that may just want to stick at the number 1 overall spot and draft a guy like Caleb Williams. This question is for everyone. And once again, I do appreciate you guys and the engagement that you guys show me on the podcast. Continue to do that for me. I really, really appreciate every single one of you guys. But let me ask you guys this on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. The Washington Commanders call Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. Once again, you are the general manager of the Chicago Bears right now. The Washington Commanders give you a call and they say, hey, Chicago Bears, we want to offer you this for the number 1 overall pick. And the offer is this, Bears fans. The number 2 overall pick, number 36 overall pick, a 2025 first round pick, and a player, which is either Terry McLaurin or Deron Payne. Bears fans, in all seriousness, with a straight face, are you really going to turn that down if you are Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears? Of course, some of you guys will say, well, yes, if Caleb Williams is generational, if I feel like he can take us to the next level, yes, I possibly would turn that down. But really take a step back and really think about this. That is a Godfather offer from the Washington Commanders to move up 1 spot. We are talking about multiple first round picks, the 36th overall pick, which is a second round pick, which is basically a first round pick in the 2024 NFL draft, and your choice of a player with either Terry McLaurin, a really good wide receiver in the National Football League, and Deron Payne, the 3 technique that would change the outlook of this defensive line for the Chicago Bears. To me, this would be an absolutely ridiculous offer that for me personally, I wouldn't be able to turn it down. It's totally okay for you guys to disagree with me. That's why I have this platform. That's why I allow you guys to engage with me down below in the comment section. I love to hear from every single one of you guys and hear you guys' opinions on what you think Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears should do with the number 1 overall pick. And I know a lot of you guys just want to see better quarterback play. I totally understand that. But if someone is offering you all that to move up 1 spot for 1 player, to me, it's a no-brainer. You trade down, right? And you continue to build around quarterback Justin Fields while adding a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., while adding a guy like Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, while adding a first-round pick for next year, right? And adding more talent to an already very young and talented roster that you have in Chicago. To me, personally, this is just my opinion. You guys can disagree with me. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. If the Washington Commanders absolutely love Caleb Williams and they want to trade up and get their guy and they want to give you multiple first round picks and multiple second round picks and Terry McLaurin or Deron Payne, to me, that is an absolutely no brainer for the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles. And if I had to guess what Ryan Poles is thinking, right? He wants to build through the NFL draft. Ryan Poles loves draft picks. So if he has the opportunity to get multiple first round picks, multiple second round picks, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Powers Johnson, I guarantee you Ryan Poles would be all over that. And I could definitely be wrong. Maybe Ryan Poles will be blown away by Caleb Williams and he thinks that he cannot pass up a prospect like Caleb Williams. He thinks that Caleb Williams would take the Chicago Bears to the next level. And if that's the case, I would respect that as a Bears fan. But I guarantee you, if the Washington Commanders came knocking and said, Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears, we'll give you multiple first round picks, multiple second round picks, Terry McLaurin or Deron Payne, I guarantee you Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears will take a step back and take a good, long, hard look at that offer and contemplate that offer, because that is a whole lot of draft capital for a team to move up 1 spot for 1 player, that you're not even sure if it's going to pan out or not. To me, it would be a Godfather offer. And for me, if I was in Ryan Poles' shoes, I would absolutely accept that from the Washington Commanders to move down 1 spot and then obviously take Marvin Harrison Jr. in the process. And I know what some of you guys are thinking, Bears fans. I totally get it. Well, Keek, why would Washington move up 1 spot, and give up all that draft capital to get Caleb Williams? And this is my response to that. 1, the Washington Commanders desperately need a quarterback. They desperately need to find a new franchise signal caller, right, to lead the show there in Washington. 2, Caleb Williams is from the DC area. So to me, it's a perfect fit. If you talk to Washington Commanders fans, they would tell you, hey, That is our guy. We need Caleb Williams in Washington. It's the perfect fit for Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams wants to be in Washington as well. He won't come out and straight say that, but I think Caleb Williams would be much happier in Washington compared to him in Chicago. 3, they may love Williams that much and think that he is generational. Maybe Ryan Poles thinks he's generational as well, but maybe Washington views him a little bit differently. Maybe Ryan Poles doesn't think Caleb Williams is generational, but maybe Washington does. So if Washington falls in love with Caleb Williams and they view him as a generational prospect, a prospect that they can take their franchise to the next level, they will do anything in their power to move up and bring Caleb Williams and make him a Washington Commander. And lastly, Bears fans, and probably the most important point when you're talking about the Washington Commanders possibly trading up one spot in order to get Caleb Williams, is the Washington Commanders just hired Cliff Kingsbury to be their new offensive coordinator for their franchise. Kingsbury and Caleb Williams are really close. Obviously, Kingsbury was a coach with USC while coaching Caleb Williams at USC. Obviously, I've heard rumors and reports that Caleb Williams and his camp really love Cliff Kingsbury. They really trust Cliff Kingsbury. Obviously, Caleb Williams, after Kingsbury got hired to be the new OC of the Washington Commanders, posted something on Instagram just congratulating Kingsbury on becoming the OC of the Washington Commanders, even fueling more fumes for the Washington Commanders to move up one spot with the Chicago Bears in order to get Caleb Williams to be a Washington Commanders. So Bears fans, long story short, anything is possible in the NFL draft. I know a lot of people will sit here and say that there's no way in hell that the Washington Commanders trade all that to Chicago Bears to move up one spot to get Caleb Williams. But once again, anything is possible with the NFL draft. Once again, nothing is set in stone. We have no idea whatsoever what the Chicago Bears or what Ryan Poles are going to do with the number 1 overall pick. But personally, to me, I understand that nothing is set in stone yet, but I would take the picks and continue to build this football team. Once again, it's okay if you disagree with me, but I feel that QB isn't our biggest need on this football team. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about quarterback Justin Fields. I would trade down, collect the multiple picks, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., draft the tackle or edge rusher, get Jackson Powers-Johnson, and continue to build around the quarterback and Justin Fields that we have here in Chicago, because Justin Fields has a limited talent. He has the playmaking ability that you want at the quarterback position. He can make any throw on the football field that you need him to make. He is a true leader. Everyone in the locker room respects him. No one wants Justin Fields out of Chicago besides the people that you see on Twitter, right? I like to call them the social media trolls. Those are the only people that want Justin Fields out of Chicago. You saw what happened in the final home game of the season against the Atlanta Falcons. Everyone was chanting that we want Fields. And I think that's a true testament of the true Bears fans that actually know that we can continue to build around Justin Fields and create something special here in Chicago. And it centers around quarterback Justin Fields. So personally, if I was Ryan Poles, if I was GM of the Chicago Bears, I would continue to build around Justin Fields, trade down and get that massive haul from the Washington Commanders to move up one spot and draft Caleb Williams and watch this team flourish into one of the NFL's best. So overall, Bears fans, this is going to be a long and exciting offseason for the Chicago Bears. And I could personally say that even though I have my belief and what I want Ryan Poles to do is to trade down to continue to build around Justin Fields, once again, nothing is set in stone yet. And I'll tell you guys this again, and so I'm blue in the face, whatever route Ryan Poles goes, whatever direction he chooses to go, whether it's trading the pick away or sticking at number 1 and drafting Caleb Williams, I definitely trust Ryan Poles to continue to put the Chicago Bears on the right path to succeed. And I think it's a win-win situation for this organization. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. If the Washington Commanders came to you and offered you multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, and a player like Terry McLaurin and Deron Payne, would you accept that offer from the Washington Commanders? Let me know down below in the comment section. But all in all, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. Better than that, be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Geek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.